I did all I could to remain as still and calm as possible, hoping to avoid the endeavor entirely if I could. Pole, however, placed no efforts in concealing himself at all. "I know you're there, Kael. Easy on the face, yeah?" I remained silent. He continued, "No hard feelings about what happened. You can totally get over it and fight me now. Honest." I remained still, frozen in place, hardly a breath. Pole sighed. "Well then, so much for a clean fight." Suddenly a splash saturated me in a wave of icy droplets. A startled gasp escaped me, leaving me little time to recover from the cold shock as 2 wooden daggers glanced off my guard. I retreated from his advance, leaving him a noisy trail to follow in my wake. He drove me back, as again and again I somehow managed to evade or block his aggressive offense, the wooden clinks reverberating through my being. It was luck more than skill. I couldn't remain on the defensive. I had to advance, shift him to the defensive. Otherwise he would surely drive me further back to deeper water. Finally, when the cold water reached my groin, I mustered the courage to send a strike his direction. He managed to defend, but only just barely. His guard was sloppy. It had been a terribly weak strike even for a blind spar, but it gave me all the confidence I needed to overcome my fear. Again I struck towards my opponent, this time with a downward slash. My weapon struck his full guard with the doubled clank of both his daggers. He would attempt to lock or redirect my weapon before diving in for a strike. He always fought this way. The impact vibrated through my wooden weapon, and where hesitation once left him the chance he needed, I left no opening. I knew what was coming next, and instead I responded with a few horizontal slices his direction. It was working. I was driving him back. After a few steps, he swept my weapon hard through its swing, stepping in to drive his shoulder into me as he did so. He barely nudged me, but it had been enough in my contorted position to set me off balance. I fell into the icy water, completely submerging for an instant. I came up quick and gasping. Pole was already laughing. In a panic, I reached up and pulled the cloth away from my face. When I opened my eyes, the world was a blinding blur of light and color. Pole stood over me. He too had removed his blindfold and now extended his hand to help me to my feet. "Oh, come now, it's not that cold," Pole said with a smile as I reached for his hand. "Good to have you back, brother." He pulled me to my feet. "What's all the ruckus about? Has someone been clubbed again?" Cass's voice came from across the way. The others stopped to free their vision as well. I was drenched, cold, and heaving. The lesson was complete. I looked down to the cloth now draped about my neck. It was not what I had expected at all. I pulled it free to have a closer look at it. The cloth was soft and durable, a deep golden color like that of fallen leaves. At its center was a shimmering black, finely stitched raven. I would have expected to find the symbol of my father and his father before him. That of the powerful bear, the dove, as it came to be known, was a symbol of strength and tranquility, power and versatility. This wonderfully stitched raven before me had been a symbol unique to my mother, a tribute to her memory. Cass and I had Mom run through several designs for the raven before we felt she got it right. The first one looked more like a stork, Pole giggled. Your mom was amazing with a knife. Her performance at the festival, the dance of blades, that's what inspired Cass and me to take up the study ourselves. The way she flipped about and slashed with lightning speed, that's why she was fresh in my mind. I guess I did get kind of carried away. Sorry, Kael. I felt great joy as he smiled, the warmest, most sincere smile I'd ever seen on either of the two. It had truly been a heartfelt gift, wrapped in truth. "Thank you, brother," I said in the strongest voice I could muster, hoping the water draining from my hair had hid any tears that might be there. "I am sorry, too." The moment didn't last long. Pole broke away. "All right, then. So can we go again? This time don't hold back, yeah? Your defense was atrocious," he teased with a wink, readying himself for another round. "I think that's enough for today, boys," came my father's booming voice as he made his way to us. Pole moaned as he shrugged away in exaggerated disappointment. I was well drenched and ready to leave the icy water. As we made our way to the bank, an excited Corey approached. "Kael, did you see? They've made us official headbands. They're every bit as awesome as the ones the twins wear. Look." He pointed to the emblem securely placed across his hairline. It was magnificent. The sun was a vibrant golden yellow. Around its central sphere were interwoven tongues of flames, reaching out in gold and red. The two colors of the sun represent both my mother and my father. "Yours has a raven, then?" he asked, still very much excited and fidgeting to fit his comfortably. He didn't even bother mentioning how his spar with Cass had gone. I displayed my headband for him, holding it taut with the raven full center. "Whoa, Raquel really went the distance," Corey remarked, still giddy with excitement from the entirety of the experience. That she certainly had. The headbands were magnificent works. It must have taken her weeks to make, and so far I had shown my gratitude by scarring one of her sons. I must have flushed with embarrassment, and she was glad to do it, came my father's voice again. His broad shoulders stood proud, a smile visible at the center of his wild beard. "You boys be sure to extend your thanks. She worked hard to make these. Wear them proudly." His eyes moved between Corey and me as he said this. "Yes, father," I replied. Indeed, I was proud to wear this symbol. I took a deep breath and stood tall as I pushed my hair back and fitted the headband into place with the swoosh of the knot sliding tight behind my head. I brought my arms down to my sides, feeling the cool rush of the wind as I stood there by the river. I breathed deep of it, my chest swelling with pride, the crest of the raven like a crown. I'm proud of you, my sons. He embraced Corey and me for a moment before turning to join the others headed for the village. Cass and Pole were already a ways up the grassy bank with Archon. The two couldn't leave without saying anything. Don't forget, you owe me a rematch tomorrow, Kael. Pole turned and shouted back. A sinister smile flashed for an instant before he disappeared into the green. Try and not lose your shield next time around. Cass called back his bit as well, a remark obviously directed at Corey. You got lucky is all. Don't count on it happening again. Obviously Corey had fared about as well as I had. It didn't matter. Win or lose, we were all the same at the end of the day. All family. I had never felt like such a fool, nor so honored. I was glad for these gifts, and the gift of my brothers and sisters as well. The Divide were my people. It was there in the years before the coming of age that I decided I would do nothing less than honor them to the fullest. Risebow was all I would ever need, my blessings as plentiful as the stars.